At this point, I kind of feel like ASUS are playing pricing games again. Hey everyone, so ASUS is back at it again with their GPU launches, and honestly we've got to give them some credit here. At least they're being upfront about the prices before the launch, which is more than we can say for most board partners these days. I mean, come on, how many times have we seen companies just drop prices out of nowhere after the hype dies down? ASUS has decided to let us know exactly what's going on and how much we should be prepared to spend on their new GPU. But hey, just because they're being transparent doesn't mean we're not going to call them out if they pull any funny business. And trust me, ASUS has a bit of a reputation when it comes to pricing shenanigans. Let's rewind for a second. If you've been following the GPU scene for a while, you'll know that ASUS has a habit of messing with their launch pricing. Like they'll announce a card at a certain price and then bang, a week later the prices are all over the place. We saw this happen with the launches of RTX 5090, 5080, and 5070 Ti. They just couldn't stick to the MSRP. That's manufacturer's suggested retail price, by the way. Yes, so ASUS couldn't stick to the MSRP for more than a week. Can you imagine? In a single week, the prices just kept changing. So the big question is, will the RTX 5070 launch be any different? Well, there's one thing that might keep ASUS in check this time around. AMD's Radeon RX 9070 series is launching today at the time of making this video, 6th March. Yep, that's right. AMD is dropping their new GPUs, and ASUS is also going to be launching Radeon cards alongside their Nvidia lineup. So if ASUS decides to go crazy with the pricing on the RTX 5070, it could backfire and hurt their own Radeon sales. Talk about a balancing act, right? We'll have to wait and see how this plays out, but it's definitely going to be interesting. Now, let's talk about what ASUS has confirmed so far for the RTX 5070 launch. Spoiler alert, it's not a lot. They've only announced 3 models for the US market, which honestly feels like a red flag for limited stock. Here's what's coming. ASUS Prime RTX 5070, 12GB GDDR7, $549. ASUS Prime RTX 5070, 12GB GDDR7 OC Edition, $699. ASUS TUF Gaming RTX 5070 12GB GDDR7 OC Edition, $739. Okay, let's pause here for a second. Did you notice something? The prices jump a lot between the base model and the overclocked versions. And this brings me to something I really want to point out. You know how reviewers often get these fancy OC models to test, and then they talk about performance as if it's the standard MSRP card? Yeah, that's not how it works in real life. Those OC models are never sold at MSRP. So, if you're watching a review and they're showing off this beastly overclocked card, just know that the one you're buying at the base price is not the same card. It's a classic move by Nvidia and their board partners, and it's something to keep in mind when you're shopping. Oh, and one more thing. ASUS hasn't confirmed pricing for their Radeon RX 9070 cards yet. That's a bit of a mystery, and it makes me wonder if they're waiting to see how the RTX 5070 launch goes before they lock in those prices. It's all part of the game, folks. So, what do you think? Is ASUS going to stick to their price this time, or they're going to keep playing around with us? I'd love to hear what you're expecting from this launch.